Here in western Connecticut, in about February 15th or 20th, sometimes as late as the 25th, it starts to warm up during the day, weather gets above 40, but at night it still stays cool down below freezing. That's when you look for the maple trees and you think, oh, it's about time to tap them if you're going to make maple syrup. I've got the drill and some stuff here. We'll do one just to show you how. This is a size 10 drill, but it should be any size that's going to fit what you use for a spigot. And this, believe me, is homemade. It's made out of junky stuff that I had around. You can buy them on the market. You can get the metal ones. I have a number of those, but these are kind of fun to play with. Staying away from where you did last year, 6 or 8 inches away from the hole that was a year or two old, you drill maybe 1.5 inches, possibly 2 inches into the tree. And clean out the drill, or the hole. And if you've done this the right way, hope. Now that one's unusual because it has that hook on it. They don't usually have that. Usually they're more like this one, but I happen to have that, so I use it. Then take a jug. Be right with you. Being filmed here for, I don't think it's for money, I think it's for posterity. So that you hook over, wire. Now, if it starts dripping, it will drip into that, and that will catch the sap. Sap has run a while, and the buckets begin to get some in them, and whatever amount, when you're collecting them, all you do is just take them off the hook, you collect them into a container. I use 5-gallon pails because they're not too bad to carry. You go up and down the trees and unload all the buckets. This is the evaporator, which means it's just a stove, and in this case, which burns wood. And I'm burning some old junk wood I got around. Actually, that's pine that was cut a year or so ago, dried out. On top is the evaporator. Can you get a good picture of that?
Yeah.
If you want to come over to it, just keep adding sap. It will boil off or evaporate over with the heat under it. And just keep adding. There's probably about 30 gallons in there right now, but I have evaporated at least 70 gallons out of it because that whole thing represents about 100 gallons of sap. But most of the water is evaporated. It's beginning to get colored. And it even tastes sweet. It doesn't look very good yet. Later on, I'll take that off and strain it, and then begin to clean it up in the house.
What's that foamy stuff on top?
That's part of the boiling, evaporating process. You get some of that foam, and I scoop it off and throw it away. It picks up. The foam seems to pick up some of the dirt out of it. Boiled down, and if you take a look at it, the bucket is way down. This is probably the result of about 120 gallons of sap, and it begins to take on color and get thick. Then take it out, at least that's what I do, and strain it. When I'm done, I will unload the whole bucket, and then we're going to take it inside the house. I'm going to show you what we do in there to finish it off. We bring it inside, strain it again. Try to keep straining it fairly often, at least 2 or 3 times. Now I'm going to pour it into a container that I can now evaporate down on the stove, because this has to be watched pretty closely. This will take a couple of hours of mild boiling, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay? But now, some people do this and some don't. It's up to whatever you want. This is canned milk, and I'm going to pour some of this canned milk into this syrup that's almost ready to bottle. It's almost thick enough. The reason I'm doing this is it will curdle, and then I'll strain it out, and it will take out some of the impurities in the little pieces of wood fiber and so forth, and it will lighten it up a bit. None of the milk will stay in the maple syrup, because it will curdle into little curds, and then it will be able to be strained out. While it takes a few minutes for that to boil and do that. And while it's doing that, look over here. In the microwave, I put a little bit of water. These have been cleaned. Then I put them in with that little bit of water. Put the microwave on for long enough so the water will boil, and that will sterilize the jars that I'm going to preserve to put the maple syrup up in, because the maple syrup has got to be sealed, otherwise it will get mold on top of it when it's in storage. But once it's sealed, I often do it in gallon jugs, but I'm just going to show that it doesn't boil over. I'm just going to show putting it into quarts today. Any kind of jar that will seal, but maple syrup always goes in boiling hot, and then you put the cover on, and then of course that will do the sealing. Right now those jars are just being sterilized. In fact, they really were pre-sterilized, so what I can do is take them out, and they're hotter than the devil, and with the hot water out, now they're ready to use. Meanwhile, if you want to take a look at the syrup, I put the canned milk in. It's all curdled, and now it has a pretty thick stuff on top. I'm going to scoop that off, a lot of it, and then I'm going to strain it, and then we'll come back to showing what we do. On top is the curdled canned milk, and what it's done is picked up any little particles in the maple syrup, little wood particles or any dirt they may have gotten in it. The rest of them going towels, tape, anything, cloth that's keeps the particles out. Takes a while for it to go through.
Can you use cheesecloth?
No, cheesecloth, they always talk about using cheesecloth, but it's too thin. There's too many big holes in it. In fact, some of the books will even say, then strain through cheesecloth. They either don't make cheesecloth like they used to, or anyway, it doesn't work. Use like a toweling, something of that nature, which will get those little fibers. Take them out. Separate them from the liquid. You want the maple syrup to be very clear when you're finished. Nice brown color, but clear. Anyway, your jars are sterilized, nice and hot. You may want to be smart and use something beside your bare hand on it. Okay, that's the syrup that you have strained and heated to a boil, and it really needs to be boiling. Dangerous part, but don't burn yourself. If you need a funnel, then, well, I've got a funnel, and I use it. You may want to dip this out, but if you're lazy like I am, you can pour it. Fill your jar up right full, because after you seal it and it cools off, it will not be as full as it looks right now. Sure you got a sealable cover. That should be sealed. I think so. And all you need to do is let it cool. Meanwhile, I want to show you a book I have, which anybody wants to borrow, probably can buy one somewhere. It's called Backyard Sugaring. It's all about how to make your own buckets, your evaporating stuff, if that's what you want to do. The taps for the trees, tells you things about the size of the tree, time of year, and all of that. This is an old one, but it's kind of neat. Got some good stuff in it. If anybody wants to borrow it, you get it for my grandchildren.